about to weigh anchor and head off to San Diego. It's 100 miles from here. We're planning on going overnight. There's a light breeze, maybe 10 knots. We're leaving with plenty of time. We need to be in San Diego on the 1st to meet my parents. It's Halloween. Allie and I are gonna go make love as ghosts on the sea.
Happy Halloween!
Los espoques. Los espoques. El gata.
It's about 6:30 in the morning. We are just sailing into San Diego. I just did the long shift from 2 o'clock in the morning to now. Aaron did the first long shift, night shift, and let me sleep for about 4 hours. We do about 4-hour shifts. He did the first one and I just did the second one. Drinking a cup of coffee. It's a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful night. Lots of stars. Lots of traffic, which was a little stressful, but luckily we have this really big spotlight that I can use to light up the sails so people can see us. And that worked. I had to shine the light a couple times. Once for a big fishing boat and the second time for a massive sailboat that was headed straight at us. Luckily they saw me and diverted course. Just did a nice overnight to San Diego.
Good morning.
Yes. Nice hot cup of coffee.
Nice hot cup of coffee. Piece of chocolate. It's a sailor breakfast.
Oh yeah. Cheers.
After a long night of dodging the heavy traffic, cruise ships, freighters, fishing boats, and pleasure craft, we were greeted with a beautiful sunrise and light southerly winds.
Tacking back and forth under full sail, we caught our first glimpse of the heavy naval presence in San Diego. We also caught our first sight of Mexico, with the Los Coronados Islands on the horizon.
San Diego is the principal home to America's Pacific Naval Fleet, making it amongst the largest naval bases in the U.S. Their presence was impossible to ignore. In contrast to the tranquility we had been experiencing on the islands and at sea, it was overwhelming. It felt like we were sailing into a war zone. Naval ships of every shape and size, frigates, cruisers, small armed escort boats, and enormous aircraft carriers. Even these scary-looking ships of death that appear like something from the Empire in Star Wars. For us, San Diego was a place of contrast. The heavy naval and police presence, coupled with the sunshine and fellow vagabond cruisers, gave emphasis to the feeling that we are struggling to escape the confines of society.
What are we doing, Aaron?
We're visiting my parents in San Diego, and they're just here for the night. We're gonna go shopping. We're going to Costco, find some goods, and hang out with the folks.
Nice.
They were just doing some art shows in Texas. They're glass artists. This is their van, and they're on their way back home, and they stopped off to see us here in San Diego before we take off for Mexico.
It's pretty weird driving a car, huh?
It is weird driving a car, especially this big ass van.
This thing is huge.
Yeah. I feel like I'm driving the Shaggin' Wagon.
The Shaggin' Wagon?
Yeah, from Scooby-Doo. What do they call that
The
thing?
Mystery Mobile.
Oh, all right, redo. I feel like I'm driving a Mystery Mobile. Scooby-Doo.
Or no, sorry, the Mystery Machine.
Oh, the Mystery Machine.
Rained last night. Which is weird, because I thought we were in San Diego. Tell us about this beautiful gift you purchased me with.
First off, they took us to Costco,
Yes, look at all these goodies.
and we got all these wonderful things.
Yeah.
We stocked up, but then they gave us this beautiful gift over here.
Woo!
We have a new outboard, so I'm never rowing again.
Never again.
It's over.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, we love you guys so much. So do you want us to film?
Hi guys!
Thank you so much.
Check him out! He's about to fire it up!
Woo!
See how it goes?
You ready?
Yeah. Oh, fuel. Here we go.
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool.
You want me to untie you?
First maiden voyage with this motor.
Oh, this is different. Now I sit in the middle.
There we go. Cheers.
Don't go in the dock.
There, listen to the giggling.
I know.
That's so cute.
Docking is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
He did a
sensitive.
really good job. I hope you can pull it off.
It's very sensitive.
Ah,
Yeah, look at that one. Are we filming?
Yes.
Today we're trying to finish installing our water maker. We got this bad boy used.
Sweet pink Weber.
We are partially installed. We kind of threw it into the boat before we left so that we could get it down here to California. And then while we were down here, we just put it off and kept cruising. We're about to head off to Mexico, so we're trying to get it finished, tested before we go.
So tell us about the color choice in the Weber.
I love pink. I love bubblegum pink. I love hot pink, rosy pink, lavender pink.
He thought it would be a funny surprise. And it was.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. And I laughed a lot. Doing projects on the Anchor, it quickly becomes apparent how small our living space really is. A mess. Like a bomb went off.
Finishing installing the water maker was the last major project on our list before crossing the border to Mexico. This meant unpacking half of the boat's tightly packed lockers, drilling holes through bulkheads, and snaking the unruly wire and hosing throughout the boat. To top it all off with a nice layer of sawdust, I cut a hole in our newly made cabinet for the water maker's pressure gauge panel. The next day, we went offshore to test it. Before leaving Washington, we had filled it with the strange pink goo, propylene glycol, in order to protect the sensitive membrane filter from bacterial growth. The manual said we needed to flush the system for 6 hours before we could pressurize it and test its functionality. We had time to kill, and had a nice visit with the dolphins while we waited. With the water maker passing the test, we said goodbye to the dolphins and headed back in to anchor with the fellow cruisers in San Diego Bay.
When traveling in a foreign country by boat, it is customary to fly a courtesy flag of the country you are visiting. We typically fly this flag from our spreaders, but had removed the block and line to do this when we redid our standing rigging a year ago, so Aaron needed to be hoisted up. With the courtesy flag line installed, we pulled up to the dock to fill our water tanks for the last time. We were super excited because this was the last thing on our departure list before finally leaving for Mexico.